As you can see, this is just one case. There could be thousands and thousands of cases that I could be speaking to you here to raise why we should abolish the death penalty. Since the reinstatement of the death penalty, 1,195 people have been executed in the US. 52 were executed last year, a rise from 37 in 2008. 35 states still have the death penalty. New Mexico recently called a halt to execution for financial reasons. All 35 of these states use lethal injection as their primary method of execution. Proponents of capital punishment would like us to believe that some means, such as lethal injections, are humane and therefore less barbaric. Of the more than 500 lethal injections administered in the US since 1992, roughly 42 cases have gone conspicuously wrong. The Hippocratic oath bars doctors from administering lethal injection, and the task falls to prison employees, resulting in instances of incorrect dosage that have allowed inmates to awaken during their execution. I would like to read you about some particular cases that are so shocking that I cannot believe that they have taken place in a democracy. On September 15, 2009, the state of Ohio attempted to execute Rommel Broom by lethal injection. Efforts to find a suitable vein and to execute Mr. Broom were terminated after more than 2 hours when the executioners were unable to find a usable vein in his arms or legs. During the failed efforts, Mr. Broom winced and grimaced with pain. After the 4 hours' lack of success, on several occasions, Broom tried to help the executioners find a good vein. At one point, he covered his face with both hands and appeared to be sobbing. His stomach was heaving. Finally, Ohio Governor Ted Strickland ordered the execution to stop and announced plans to attempt the execution anew after 1 week delay so that physicians could be consulted for advice on how the man could be killed more efficiently. When the state of Florida executed Benny Dems by lethal injection on June 8, 2000, the execution official had a problem finding a vein. He complained about the procedure and said that he bled profusely, said George Schaefer, attorney for Benny Dems. What witnesses saw was Dems strapped to the gurney and screaming. It took execution technicians 33 minutes to find suitable veins for the execution. They butchered me back there, said Dems in his final statement. I was in lots of pain. They cut me in the groin. They cut me in the leg. I was bleeding profusely. This is not an execution. It is a murder. Indeed, it is a murder. The 8th Amendment to the US Constitution prescribed the state from inflicting torture or a lingering death, and from cruel and unusual punishment. The United States proclaimed itself a beacon of democracy and civil liberty. I urge the United States to abolish the death penalty. When, to my consternation, on April 16, 2008, the Supreme Court ruled that lethal injection is properly administered. If properly administered, is a humane means of executing a condemned prisoner. I was stunned and very sad. I would like to say that the reason why I feel so strong about the death penalty, as some of you know, is because I have witnessed the execution of an innocent man, Gary Graham, who wanted to be known as Shaka Sankofa. I would like to mention, just before leaving you, the case of Uganda, where they want to introduce an anti-homosexuality bill, which is now being debated. It proposes death sentence for certain cases of gay sex, namely if the accused is HIV positive, a serial offender, a person of authority over the other partner, or if the victim is under 18. At a time when gay rights have been asserted all over the world, this is a retrograde step that sets alarm bell ringing. I have outlined many of the practical reasons for abolishing the death penalty, reasons of which you are all aware, that are compelling enough to inspire many people who otherwise believe in the eye for an eye justice to oppose it. As Gandhi said, an eye for an eye for an eye ends in making everybody blind. But there is another more philosophical reason, one that gets at the nature of human beings and the proper role of government. Camus said, capital punishment is the most premeditated of murder. Is the death penalty ever just? Is a society operating at its highest moral level when its only remedy against violent crime is to kill? Are we not a bankrupt society when we do not allow the possibility for change, rehabilitation and redemption? There is no excuse for any country, for any state, in any part of the world in the 21st century to continue to execute their citizens. Some nations had applied this barbaric practice for centuries at an unthinkable cost. That cost is both ethical and financial, but most of all, it is a horrendous cost of human life and innocent life. I call for the worldwide abolition of the death penalty. The time is now. Let us not add to the ranks of those thousands of deaths who have already been executed, victims of an unfair and brutal penal system. The death penalty is not justice. Thank you very much.